character question, which he never really usually did. He just wanted to do whatever he wanted to do. But he goes, "Do you think Bartleby recognizes Jay and Silent Bob when they get on the train?" I was like, "Well, why would he?" He's like, "Because they're called prophets in heaven and stuff." I was like, "That's what Metatron said. Maybe the whole of heaven doesn't know." And he's like, "Well, Rufus knows that he jerks off to guys, so he's like, everyone must know about them and shit." And I was like, "Okay, fair enough." He was always looking for logic loopholes because he liked the script a lot. He's like, "This is a tight script." I was like, "Thanks." He's like, "I can't find the logic holes." And I was like, "No, I tried to cover all my bases." But the whole movie, he'd come up to me and he'd just be like, "Angels don't have nipples." Shit like that. Where I'm like, "Come on, dude." He's like, "Jason Lee's got a fucking belly button. Why would an angel have a belly button?" Shit like that. So he would come up to me and he asked a question about that. And he asked about us knowing each other. He goes like, "Wouldn't I know you through time?" And I go, "What are you talking about?" He's going, "I got a theory, man, that basically Bartleby has been fighting Silent Bob all through fucking time immemorial, and he recognizes him from past incarnation, and he calls him by another name." And I was just like a Germanic angel name? He goes, "Yes, Schulerbob." So we sit there like between takes and fucking make jokes about fucking the battle between Bartleby and Schulerbob and shit. And then when it came time to shoot the train sequence and whatnot, I grab him and fucking in this one take he turns around, it's the ones in the movie, he turns and he goes, "Schulerbob." He like to fucking, and I was the only one laughing hysterically when it happened. Everyone else in the set, Scott's going like, "What did he say?" I was like, "He called me by my fucking Germanic angel name." That's how in love with Ben I was. Like, it was so funny to me. I was like, "I'm gonna put that in the fucking movie."
He's the best. That train was a bunch of laughs. I remember I couldn't stop laughing, and then you guys kicked me off the train because the Chris Rock, when he would move, he would he would get so serious, and it made me laugh so hard watching his face go, "You gotta stop!" And he would shake his head back and forth like this, and he was like, "Well, don't do it! Don't do it, Bartleby!" And it made me laugh so much that they kicked me off. You guys kicked me off the train. I don't know, it was funny.
It wasn't even that. He wasn't going like this. This is what cracked you up. Because Chris, I kept telling Chris, "Look at them. Don't take your eyes off them because he's got the last scion. But keep looking back for help. So look back to see if there's help." So Chris, and he does it one time in the movie, you can see it. He goes like this. So Chris is reacting to Bartleby. He's talking. He's got the fucking bottle at Bethany's throat. He's going like this, and then he'll turn to look back, and it looked exactly like this. He goes, you know, scared eyes and shit. And this captured his imagination like you wouldn't believe. He was still on heroin in these days, so it just sank fucking in. So every time he turned around, he was just like, Mewes would go like, "Ah, ah, ah, ah." I think it was Ferrantino going like, "We might need to get him off the train." Fucking grabbed him by the back, threw him off the train. He was like, "Shoot him up!" You were on lots of dope back in those days, no?
I was. It was troublesome. It's weird because I look back and I remember when people saw the movie and they said that they thought I had done better than past movies because in the beginning I wasn't too fucked up because I wasn't using every day. They were testing me the first couple of weeks. They tested me for insurance. You got to get insured for each movie. So I wouldn't use for like 4 days, and then as soon as they tested me, I'd go use because I would be sick. Excuse me.
Oh, that's later, man. Fucking don't jump the gun.
Whoa!
Shut the fuck up. We'll get there, man. We'll get there. We don't go right to the cum shot. We work the TV.
And so then I would go and use right afterwards. And there was a few days like getting to that. I remember shooting the Uzi. I was doing coke, and I remember they kept trying to fire it, and it kept misfiring. And I would go do coke, and I was waiting for my dope to arrive. Because I was waiting for the dope to arrive, and I swear that the girl who used to have to come knock on my door and be like, "Hey, they're waiting for you on set," I would always be so cranky and not on purpose, just because I'd be in my trailer like doing lines and stuff for coke, and then I'd be like, "Okay, only come and get me when they need me," and then they'd be like, "No, they really need you," and then I'd come out and I'd go to shoot the gun, and it would be like, and it wouldn't work, like they'd misfire, and they'd be sitting there messing with it. I'd be sitting there watching and being like, okay, cool, we're gonna shoot soon, we're gonna shoot. And they'd be like, oh, hold on, we gotta do this, you know, we're gonna set up another light. And I'm like, all right, I'll be right back, I gotta take a shit. And they're like, you just shit like 10 minutes ago. I was like, yeah, I have the runs. And I had the runs like all the time on set. But it was a mess, man. I really, there was days where it was like that, where I just wanted to be in the trailer. And I'm shocked that I even never like, luckily I never got to the point where I was like, I can't come out of my trailer, I can't do it.
Yes, you did.
Was there?
Oh, yeah, many times and shit. Basically, this is what would happen. I think it was Heather, they'd send Heather to get you.
Yeah.
And she'd knock on your trailer door, and she'd be like, 5 minutes, that's what happens. Like a third AD will come up from Trailer World, knock on your door, and tell you talent, like, hey man, sometimes, you know, it's a set PA or whatever. Hey man, it's time to fucking go in 5 minutes. Just give you a 5-minute heads up. So they give him the 5-minute heads up, and then they'd knock on his door again, and he'd be like, what? And they'd be like, remember the 5-minute heads up? And he's just like, I'll be there in 10. You know? So then they'd sit outside, and they're getting calls from set going, we're ready to shoot, where the fuck is he? And she's like, he's inside, he said he needs 10. They're like, we'll get him out. And she'd be like, okay. And she'd knock on a fucking door, and he'd be like, what the fuck do you want? And come out, and she'd be like, they're ready to shoot with you now. And he'd be like, oh, and he'd show up all pissed off and fucking like, ready, manic almost and shit. And all this whole time, I'm concentrating on the movie, so I don't put 2 and 2 together. Oh, he's still using drugs. Because the girl he was dating at the time, he had just met her out there, and we said, hey man, we sat her down, me and Mosier in the office one day. I said, look, this kid's trying to get clean. He wasn't there, of course. He said, for the last 3 months, he's been living at my house. He doesn't go near heroin and stuff. He's been a junkie. We don't mean to lay this on you. We know you just met the kid and shit, but you'd be doing us a real favor if you watch him. She's like, what do you mean? We're like, well, you're with him all the time. We can put you on the payroll, and you just have to make sure he stays sober. If he gives you trouble, it talks about wanting to do this or find drugs, you let us know and we'll deal with it. And she was like, how are you going to do that? And we're like, we'll just pay you as his assistant. You could be his assistant. And she was like, okay, fantastic. Yeah, I can help you do that. So me and Scott felt good. We were like, right on, man. We got somebody on the case watching him and shit. What we didn't know is they were doing heroin together. We'd give her the check for watching. We're like, how's he doing? She's like, he's doing great. Clean and sober. We'd be like, right on, thanks. She'd leave. They go buy fucking heroin and snort it up and shit. It was a weird time. I also remember, like, we shared a room, a hotel suite. Like, I was in one bedroom, he was in another, and then we had a common living room with the idea being like I could keep my eye on him. So one day he comes over to my bedroom, he's like, Mewes, look. And he hands me a stack of Polaroids. And I was like, what's this? And he goes, look, take a peek. I flip them over, and they're Polaroids of his girlfriend, naked. Like the chick that I was like, now you watch Mewes. And apparently he was watching her and just fucking snapping pictures and shit. And it was weird because it was like, this is 1998. And, you know, now fucking throw a rock, you get naked pictures on the internet. But in 1998, it was fucking scarce. And if you were going to look at naked pictures on the internet, it took 20 minutes to download line by line and shit. So somebody having fucking Polaroids was still kind of exciting. And I was like, let me borrow these. And I went and jerked off.